By the way, did you guys know that PayPal actually had a partnership with the ADL to go after anti-Semites? Peter Thiel's whole crew.
Yeah, I saw that.
Hold on.
And also, you can't have PayPal in the occupied territories.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah.
Look, the whole point of Palantir is to be able to have everyone's personal information. So this way they can, go after you, dox you. And by the way, Antifa, that's exactly what they do. They'll go after, say, white supremacists, which doesn't exist. There's Jewish supremacists, they exist, but they won't go after them. Or so-called fascists, well, who are they? There's no fascism here. There's still elections that take place, and they're both pre-selected candidates anyway. It's a Jews in charge. There's an oligopoly in charge that controls the media, the politicians, and finance. They don't go after them, though. Because no, they actually defend and protect them. They want to go after those that want to go after those who are actually in charge. Guys like me, they will obviously call them out and call for decentralization and no Federal Reserve, none of these Jewish lobbies, no more Income Tax Act. Everybody should absolutely have a home. I'm a National Socialist. Everybody should have a home, and food should be affordable, and the currency should not be devalued. Should not be devalued or be able to be traded on any exchange. It should just be stabilized, and people can obviously earn a living, own property for sure, and there should be private property rights, and there should be a stock market separated from the economy, so this way you can't fuck with it and cause transfer of wealth from poor middle class to the elite. You can't therefore exploit or do price manipulation with the stock market like Larry Ellison did, where he made $101 billion in a day. And no one said anything about it. None of them care. None of them even know. None of them really understand how the stock market works or what the Federal Reserve even really does. Because they're not interested in these hard conversations. They want to talk about Antifa. Antifa's the problem. If we can solve that, we'll fix all our problems.
Antifa controls the Federal Reserve. Antifa's 50% of the donations to the parties. Antifa has led us in wars that have cost $21 trillion. Did you know that, Truth?
Exactly. Yeah. Antifa causes $37 trillion in debt. Not the Jews, who cost about $30 trillion of the debt with all the illegal wars. That's all the payments to countries like Jordan, Egypt, and the other countries to do the Abraham Accords, and all the money wasted. And I'm not making up numbers, by the way. There's actual accounting on this. All this money that gets spent, wasted, is on Jews for all their stupid special programs. Besides, just foreign aid policy to Israel and Ukraine, which is also run by Jews.
We don't talk about enough. We don't talk about the great Jewish bank bailout of 2008, 2009. Oh my God! Yeah, that was another $2 trillion to Jews right there.
Dude, do you know that America assumes the liability for Israeli bonds? So when they go and borrow money, America assumes that debt if they default. Did you know that?
It has to be, because their credit rating so high.
Because their GDP is completely fabricated and inflated. It's based on what? They don't actually make or do anything other than what? They resell smuggled diamonds, cut process, and that again is really a made-up industry, easily boycottable. And they resell stolen weapons that they have. But what is it they actually do? I mean, right now they're more or less at state of war, which means most of it's all expenses. It's very expensive to finance a genocide. You're pulling out your core component of your workforce so that they can become soldiers. And then you have to pay them to go and do this. So you're spending billions of dollars. I mean, some people are saying it's like $100 million or more a week to be able to finance this. It might even be more than that. It's very expensive. Then your hotels and all your other industries are suffering as a result of it. So their economy is shit right now. And the only reason why it's still functional is because the U.S. is funding it and subsidizing it. Without that, they default. They're done. But they never will because, the U.S. assumes liability and enables it. Trump enables it. It's real simple on how you end the genocide and problems, but, they don't want to have those hard conversations because they don't care about Palestine. They pretend they don't care about Israel either, even though they have no problems with billions of dollars going towards funding the Jewish state and Jews controlling America, being being recognized as a special minority class and the highest earning ethnic minority. But then they want to claim that white supremacy exists. No, that's called Jewish supremacy because they get all the perks and privileges. But again, these cowards will never have that conversation because they're a bunch of chicken shits, cowards. And those are the things I would have said to those fucking twats who think they're tough. Go do your own thing. Yeah, but I'm about to do that, bitch. I'm out. You think I'm going to wait around to have the privilege to speak to your low IQ crowd? I'm done.
So who is your crowd anyway? She used to follow me on my old account.
They're a bunch of normies. She actually sent me a mic. She invited me up. I wasn't even going to go up at all. Then Mace messaged me and asked me to please come up, blah, blah, blah. Like, I was just killing time before I started my own space. Literally, could care less.
I wasn't in there. I didn't hear it.
They're ridiculous
people, man. They're ridiculous people. They come up with this shit. They say the same thing every day, and nothing changes in their tone. They never. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. They never drink the fucking water.
Well, they drink the
Kool-Aid. Horses only drink from fresh water sources.
Oh, they drink the Kool-Aid. They'll never talk about what they could actually do. Why don't you talk about BDS? Boycott all the Jew-run businesses. Stop drinking. I bet they all drink Starbucks. I bet they're still eating fucking fast food and processed foods. I bet they still don't understand how inflation works. They're not changing their lifestyle or learning to live below their means and eliminate debt and get into crypto and Bitcoin. Just Bitcoin, not other crypto, to get themselves try to achieve a financial autonomy. These are the topics that actually matter to people, that actually impact people's day-to-day. This way they don't have to worry about figuring out whether to fill up their tanks or their fridges. They can actually afford to have families. Yeah, it's great that Charlie Kirk pushes heterosexuality and, having a family and kids, but you have to be able to afford to do that. He was a multimillionaire because he was funded by a bunch of fucking Jews. So good for thee, but not for me, because it's not affordable. And why is it not affordable? Because the Jew takes it all for himself. They play a zero-sum game. That's why less than 0.5% of the population controls over 50% of the wealth. The Jews control most of the wealth in America. And that stupid bitch would never want to admit that because she's too much of a coward.
Hey, one more quick question, Truth.
Yep.
Hey, have you seen about his wife? About the whole marriage could have been arranged, that she was possible.
Her marriage was arranged, just like Candace Owens' marriage was arranged. Getting married within 17 days of meeting George Farmer was absolutely arranged. Epstein actually arranged it. Look, it's hilarious to me that people think she's some brave superwoman because as a 17-year-old, after winning, she didn't even win the Miss Teen America pageant. She just won Miss Arizona, and she didn't even place for the next pageant. So then they whisk her off to Romania to go and connect herself with Romania's angels and start human trafficking for the next 5 years. And these retards don't want to have that conversation. Thousands of kids went missing. They say 86,000. I think it's higher than that. 86,000 kids as a conservative figure is the number of kids that go missing in Romania per year. Unfortunately, human trafficking runs rampant there. What do you think she's fucking doing there with help from the U.S. military and the contractors there? They're in on it.
Not only that, but her parents' background, and just so happened to run into Charlie in Israel. Come on. That wasn't set up. That was not set up.
Your question is arranged. It was absolutely arranged. Yeah, I believe that. And now does she look like she's grieving? She doesn't give a fuck.
Not at all.
She looks happy. USA, and they're going like crazy. She's going to make even more millions. She's money hungry, and she's not a member of the Knights of Malta. So she's a Freemason as well, just like Charlie Kirk was.
Well, not only that,
if you look at her mom. Look at her mom's picture. You telling me she's not a Jew?
No, but not only that, but the money is nothing. It's the amount of ears that they got through that TPS USA. I mean, how many
power and influence on the young demographic?
It's huge.
They don't survive without the youth vote. They need high schoolers and now middle schoolers as well, and obviously university students. So it'll be staunch Zionists, just like this Bryland faggot, the trust fund baby. That's going to be the next face of TPUSA.
Killing Charlie, they got it.
That guy is a more Zionist version of Charlie, a gay as well, so they can sort of bridge into all demographics. Hello, we're a one size fits all. Come join, put on your Zio cap, go touch the wall.
She's got her prints all over his death, bro. She's guilty as fuck.
Look, I don't know if you guys saw Stu Peters' video, and I really don't care to relitigate this anymore, but it's quite clear that microphone blew up. And there was a guy that detonated it, and it was similar to, I believe, what happened with the pagers in Lebanon. So there was no shot fired. And by the way, you can through acoustics analysis, it's quite clear they diverted the sound of what was supposedly a bullet. And from that gun, the rifle they claimed that was used, the 30-aught, there's no way it would have been that. It would have been that sound. It would have been way louder. So it's quite clear this was again a manufactured hit job. Just because even the blood that was gushing out looked totally fake and staged. I don't even know if he's really dead. I really don't care. He was just another face. Now they replaced it with this young faggot. And Erica's going to take over, and the likes of JD Vance, Shapiro, and all of them are going to guest co-host his space to keep it going. And they're actually more popular and bigger than what they were. This totally paid off for them.
I think he's actually dead. I think they actually killed him. But I mean, that was the first thought. I was like, yo, he's probably faking his death. That was the first thing I thought because he's surrounded by spooks. But it's like, they might have.
But does it even matter? Like they're exploiting his death because they need more military recruitment. They need more. They want more people to go serve in Israel's wars. Because based on what I'm hearing, Iran's on the chop block and Venezuela as well. They don't have enough soldiers. They're spread thin. So you know they're going to be recruiting at a ridiculous rate because now all of a sudden, everyone's going to rediscover their patriotism because of Charlie Kirk, the Zionist, the guy who loves Israel and the Jews.
Who never served in the army himself, who never fucking stepped a foot outside of the United States with the uniform on. And they gave him the Air Force color guard, the Air Force guard to carry his casket. What kind of bullshit is this?
7 of the 18 were the only ones that weren't there at the funeral. So the 18 in the chain of command, 7 of them weren't there. The rest were there, from President Bush on down.
It's always the chicken hawks that want other people's kids to go to war and die. Just remember that. Trump never served. His kids are never going to serve. You think what Ivanka Trump's kids are going to, or you think what Barron's going to serve? You think what Charlie Kirk's kids will one day serve? No. They want poor people's kids to serve because they're expendable. Okay, that's what everyone here needs to understand. The Jew has no problem sacrificing a Gentile to serve the Jewish cause. And they'll get $1 million out of it, like or they get some money out of it, like they did with Tyler Robinson's family. Play along with this ruse that we're playing on the American people. You're going to pretend to be the lone shooter, and then the story that you're part of the story will eventually die down. At least we didn't wipe you out like Lee Harvey Oswald. You get to live. And just like with Luigi Mangione, what happened there? That's never going to go to court. That's another joke of a case. So these lone gunman, narratives, these fictional narratives, no one's eventually going to buy it because people are seeing through the lies. I mean, the time of the era of false flags, it's too late now because too many people have smartphones and they don't believe the government anymore because they've just been caught in too many lies. And all they do is fucking lie. Like after Iraq and after COVID, there's very little confidence in the government other than these retards. And don't believe in these fucking manufactured polls. They're all a bunch of bullshit when they try to claim, like, if Trump's polls are really like, I don't know, whether it's 40, 50% or more. No one approves of his bullshit. It's all manufacturers. And AIPAC and Mossad and all these fucking entities can manufacture polling just to, falsely reflect popularity of leadership and the direction they're going and how amazing the economy is. Well, it's only benefiting the top 10%. Nobody's buying this shit. It's only benefiting really the top 1% that continue to accumulate more wealth as they literally manufacture out of thin air by rigging the stock market. That's why I'll keep bringing up the Larry Ellison stock manipulation ploy he did on September 10th, which I believe is a much bigger story than Charlie Kirk, because that's enabled him to be the richest and most influential guy in the world. He's the real CEO of all the major companies now. He runs media and he runs the big AI, and he's pivotal, instrumental in Operation Stargate, among other ventures out there. And he's already testing out his national ID card in the UK. Expect that to come in the US. Right? You're seeing it right before your eyes. What more can I say? All right, we'll get through these fans and then I'll do the Thiel presentation and I'll see when Tyler's going to get here hopefully shortly. And it'll be a good space, guys. I think we got to talk about the issues that matter, not this bullshit, these symptoms of the problem, like whether it's Antifa, the socialists, left versus right, black versus white. These are all just, this is gaslighting. This is all smoke and mirrors because they don't want to talk about where the country's actually going. It's going towards a surveillance state with a stable coin where they're going to roll over all the debt and, again, take over all the assets remaining that they don't already have. So that's their plan, and that's the shit that people need to understand. And then plan for it, because their solutions are here to just blackpill. Listen to the fucking solutions. Boycott all their fucking businesses. Again, eat less, get fit, get off all the other social media apps and the likes of Netflix and, of course, the mainstream media news, and learn about Bitcoin, and, again, learn to live below your means. So this way you're way less of a target to them, and they can't control you anymore. That's what's key. All right, Joanne, pick a hand.
Let's check on the list. Welcome to the panel, sir.
Thank you, guys. But I'm so glad that Truth has been begged to be a part of Maze and all these clowns on Twitter. These, like I was talking about earlier in Key Space this morning, I said, the most important thing we could possibly talk about right now is finding your way into heaven, because, you're going to need some grace. This is the end times. They are hell-bent like some rabid fucking rats in a cage. So they're cornered. They're overplay their hand, man. Every time that they get kicked out of the country, get caught colluding and then conspire, against real mom and pop businesses. Like, they steal your shit. They want your intellectual property. They want your assets. They're going to use you up until you're not worth anything anymore. And they want to bring a war with China. To be honest with you, they're in bed with China. They fund both sides of every war. They don't know who's going to win, but they sort of like gamble on this stuff just so they can draw like regime change and new borders. So that's the type of motherfuckers they are. We're talking about some real Zionist motherfucker. Like, these people have submarines and bunkers and stuff. I don't want to preach to the choir, but I was in Key Space this morning about the Sunday sermon, and I'm so glad to hear Truth talking about these clowns on Twitter, because I don't hear too many people talking about the military psychological operation that Twitter is, with the journalists that sell us these wars and stage these mass casualty events constantly with these bioweapons and so forth. But that's the type of shit that these people do. It reminds me of the Navalny poisoning and all this other stuff, like with Skripal and like this whole Ukraine shit that started with the train station and air incursions into Romania. They're staging these false flag attacks to hit us with an EMP and black out our electricity grid. And then your Bitcoin is going to be worth nothing because we have no internet. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's going to drive people into FEMA camps on purpose. And they want to keep you guys inside with the whole track tracing database. It's like a cage. And they want to be in Venezuela so they can watch Cuba and Mexico and the shipping lanes. And they're probably going to go to war with Russia about shipping lanes. Well, that's what the Brits started before the Queen died. Like, this is all the European conglomerate. These people are in a cabal. It's a cult. And they want to turn us into Europe. See what I mean? And they want to see everything. They want to know how your farts smell, man. And they want to make sure that you're going to pass laws to prevent radical terrorists. And that's what is going to happen. And if you don't like it, like, you can end up in a FEMA camp. They wanted everything to do with everything there's no liberty anymore. See, like, if your assets bring you a business or any type of wealth, they're going to yank the rug. And that's just the way they are. But anyway, that's the whole behind the curtains thing, the smoke and mirrors. We were talking about Orthodox Jews versus the Ashkenazi Zionists.
Let's end it soon because we have a lot of hands and he also wants to start his presentation. So please
I just want to keep you guys on your toes. Like, watch how they spin the narrative with Lame Street, because they're going to stage something. I don't know what it is. It's going to be another assassination, quote unquote, or bioweapon, whatever, bro. Regime change, civil war in Kosovo. But yeah, that's exactly how they operate, and it has a lot more to do. They need some type of show. They're not going to show you that there is stuff, real people behind the scenes that are bucking the boomers. Because I don't know. I mean, like, I just want to know, do you guys really think that there's some military intelligence that are going against the system, or are they trying to bring Putin under their wing with China? I don't know where we are right now with this, because it's like a gray area. But anyway, I'll end with that.
all right, thank you so much. Yelena, go ahead.
Hi guys, I won't take a lot of your time. Thank you for giving me the mic. I wanted to warn the community that today I caught this account with a bunch of old accounts, and I started looking into all of these accounts, and if you search for yourself, it becomes very obvious that it is an operation. I mean, this is why we have glitching spaces, mass reporting, shadow banning, because of operations like this. Look for yourself, do your own research, look at those accounts and see they all like, share, post on each other's accounts very uniformly, and they make the same posts with the same ridiculous hasbara. After this account got exposed, he threatened to expose me as a Mossad agent here in a space, for which he made some cute arts and crafts memes and Microsoft Word or whatever, in me, AI of me with a Israeli flag. Very cute, but could have done better. My suggestion is block all of these accounts after you do your own research and learn for yourself. And do not allow these parasites around us. They need to know that they will be restricted and they're not welcome. And just be safe out there. I posted it in the purple. Well, actually, I replied to his ridiculous post, but it's all there. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you for having me and giving me the mic.
All right, thank you, Yelena. Yeah, I'll check it out after the space because I cannot multitask. But thank you so much. Dre, go ahead. Dre going once. Dre going twice. All right, not so fast. 700. Go ahead.
I'm here. My bad.
Oh, okay.
I didn't hear you the first time. My apologies. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. Please in here. Thank you for the space. Please repost the space. Shout out to Truth Teller doing this consistent, great show. I just wanted to tell everyone in the space, man, to keep Iran in your prayers. And there's apparently they've activated all their air defenses. So there's probably another attack being planned on Iran, and so yeah, just keep Iran in your prayers. Thank you. That's all I wanted to say.
How did they? So I've been getting that notice as well. How do they know? Like, what indicates?
If they activate all the air defenses, they know something's up in there because they're constantly watching, the shit that's going on in the region. They have eyes on all people that have anybody that has Iran as a target. Iran has their eyes on them, So and if they're activating their air defenses, then I'm pretty sure they're expecting something. So yeah, just want to kind of let you know. Yeah, I'll look more into it, but it's just just kind of some people have been telling me now.
Yeah, keep us posted. I'll take a look at the usual Telegram channels as well. All right, who's next?
It's not so fast. 700.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, welcome. How are you?
Well, I'm doing fine. Actually, I had some questions for Truth Teller. So, Truth Teller, I know this is kind of old news, but what did you think of the Destiny versus Marin Gaines debate?
Destiny versus which debate? Who is he going on?
Marin Gaines.
Myron Gaines, you mean?
Yeah, sorry.
Destiny had a debate with Myron Gaines. I've seen
Yeah,
Destiny.
I haven't even watched it, and I know Myron
Was this
won.
recent? Is this recent?
It was semi-recent. It happened like 5 days ago or so.
Okay, well, I can't comment on it because I didn't see it. But look, I don't really take guys like Destiny too seriously. Me as a bisexual, homosexual, whatever. I think his wife dumped him too because I guess she got tired of him too. She only hooked up with him because he was making more money than the other guy she was with. And I guess she found another guy that wasn't banging other guys. So I mean, I don't know how a woman can respect you that way. And then he's also a staunch Zionist himself. He's been to Israel and stuff like that. So I don't know. Myron, to each his own. I respect the guy. He's welcome to debate whoever he likes. I actually debated Destiny once myself back in the day. And
You did?
yeah, I did. On Solomon Space back in the day. It's recorded. And he actually was in denial that Jewish pedophiles in America seek refuge in Israel to avoid prosecution, even after we proved it to him. His defense was that, did the prosecutors, the DAs in America, request extradition? They did. And then I went on to prove as well that extradition requests consistently get rejected in Israel. So that's proof that it happens. They just reject it. And then he was still in denial. Still didn't want to acknowledge that it's a rampant problem, irrespective of how many examples were brought up, not just within pedophiles, but also other Jewish criminals, like also the crypto exchange founders, the guys who were running, for instance, both Voyager and also Celsius. They're both Jews, Ari Korenblum and Alex Mashinsky. They also took off to Israel to avoid, prosecution and their jail sentences for ripping off the billions that they have, because that's just what Jews do. So, but yeah, he's just another paid influencer. I mean, later you can get into Ava and you can figure out what kind of scumbag he really is. But for what somehow his kid is seeing the light, he's actually supports Hitler and the National Socialists, and probably hates his dad, because I mean, what son can respect a faggot of a dad who takes it up the ass, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, speaking of which, I do have one more question. Have you seen that video of that Xavier guy? He's a black conservative. He's gay with that other woman. I don't really know her name, but they're drinking.
Emily says America.
Emily fucks America and Xavier the gay guy.
Yeah, they were talking on TikTok about how Jews, they were networking so well, and we're jealous of them because they're we're essentially poor and they're just working hard, and we're not working as hard as them. So I'm wondering, how do you counter arguments like that? I guess. How would you?
So the argument is that we're not working as hard. Is that what it is?
That's essentially what they're saying. In the
Xavier literally said, "You guys don't work hard enough, and Jews know how to network." I saw that video.
Yeah.
Okay, so look. First of all, there's no error in thought in saying that Jews are good at networking. They're very good. They're very organized when it comes to networking and supporting their own and building their own communities and really living segregated in places like New York, where they have their own communities, their own neighborhoods, their own police stations, hospitals, medical centers, their own police station, and more. So there's no real counter to the argument that Jews are networkers, because they have the infrastructure in place. I mean, they organized the World Zionist Council right away as soon as they came up with the Zionist Manifesto. And they,
I agree with that. I agree with that. I was just saying, like,
but what the Jews are also very good at doing is also causing, causing divisions within other groups. So, and also casting blame and also, what's the word I'm looking for here? Essentially, deflecting attention from their crimes and all the wrong that they do in the society, and also the control that they have on all the different aspects I've mentioned, from finance to politicians to media, and then pretending like, you know, things like white supremacy actually exist. So they're very good at gaslighting. And you know, they'll be in denial of the fact that, you know, that they run finance, or that they actually do control the media, though it's right in your face, or that they control politicians, when they're literally pushing for a national anti-Semitism law, which is exactly what the communists did back in 1917 when they took power, when the Jews took power there. So, look, when it comes to arguing with people like that, I just wouldn't waste my breath or too much time, because they're likely paid agents or have a vested interest in just being in denial of who's really in control and what the shadow government actually is composed of. So I wouldn't waste too much time on that. But in terms of not working hard enough, look, why should you have to work 100 hours a week just to make ends meet? That's fucked up. It's not about working hard enough. It's about doing. Your effort should be measured based on outcome, not based on, say, to make an additional $10 or $15 an hour just to be able to, you know, eat 2 or 3 meals a day or whatever it is. But that's what it's come down to. The fact that people need side hustles, second and third jobs just to get by, that's insane. That's not about working harder. That's about being stuck in this debt slavery system where people are forced to rely on credit just to be able to make ends meet, not even to live lavishly, just to be able to, like, make rent or pay their gas bills or whatever, and food bills, you know, or being able to even have kids. So life has just become unsustainable because wages do not keep up with inflation at all. And I've already given the example of just the Big Mac. A Big Mac used to cost, what was it, around, it was like 50 cents or something back in 1980. Today it costs around $8. That's a 16x inflation, and it's 30% smaller too. Do you know what wages went up by? Minimum wage was around $3 an hour in 19. Today you're lucky if it's $12, maybe 15. So at best 4 to 5 times. So that's a 16 versus 5 for shitty food. So you tell me, is working harder going to solve that problem? Basically, you're expecting people to work themselves to death like they're in gulags, like they did to people in the USSR, where, you know, 1.8 million people were killed and 18 million enslaved, just so they can serve the Jew and their companies. Because the Jew doesn't want to work hard. The Jew wants to take vacations and enjoy time on his yacht, his mansion, and, you know, have lots of kids, and then blame Gentiles for not working harder. Or, you know, you'll get scam artists like Vivek the Snake, who will, you know, promote and do a pump and dump stock for this Alzheimer pill, and then now he claims he's a billionaire as well. I made over $300 million on that, and claimed that average Americans don't work hard enough while he's fucking around with his family and his kids, and he wanted to be president based on what merits. And this guy took a Soros scholarship that he didn't even need, because, you know, he comes from means. So you can't listen to people like that, because they just seek to demoralize and dehumanize you, and the Jews are very good at that. They want to make you seem like you're less than them. You don't deserve to have the seat at the table because you haven't earned it, you haven't worked hard enough, but somehow they have, based on the meritocracy. You know, you're not Jared Kushner. You're not just going to be handed millions of dollars or $2 billion to go, you know, build illegal settlements in the West Bank, for instance, while you fucked up your dad's real estate business that he handed to you. You sold all the units off so you could buy XXX Fifth Avenue, like a dumb fuck that you are, and then you needed a bailout. So that's a high IQ Jew move right there. And this is a guy that was in charge of the Abraham Accords, the guy that's going to deal with Gaza, you know, and the aftermath once they're done wiping out more Palestinians. So you need to understand that you are not on their playing field. You know, they're in their own little elite circle with all the perks and privileges, and they're looking down on everyone else. And if ever there's an insurrection and people band together, they're going to run off to their bunkers that they've already set up in various private islands or in places like New Zealand, like Peter Thiel has, that we're going to get into later. So understand that we are not the same as these people. They look down on us.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. It's
Truth, I just want to say something really fast. The pizzeria is off the charts and the gay bar is empty. So that's a good, like, if you look in the past, it's always like that near Washington. So yeah, someone in the listeners tagged us, Kat, and thank you for that. I hope they don't go to war with Iran.
Oh, you're saying that the pizza place at the Pentagon is full right now?
Yeah. Yeah, it's full and the gay bar is empty, so there's the.
I don't know about the gay bar part. Yeah, they have like a Starbucks there.
They fuck around in Congress. What do you mean? They
Reddy's Beach Bar.
They're not just
Look
fucking
it
around
up,
in those gay bar
actually.
bathrooms.
You can check this out on Google. If you go type in Pentagon on Google Maps, you see the little there's a Starbucks there. You see what shops they have in there. If you look, you see the traffic.
The Pentagon Pizza Report. They show you. They do that for you.
Oh, is that an account?
Yeah, and I'll show it to you.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, not so fast, and we'll go through the other hands. Not so fast. Okay, not so fast. I'm not muting you. I don't know why you get muted. Okay, let's go to someone else. The Kirk take. Go ahead.
Thank you. Truth, I was just wondering if you were thinking about projection with the Jews projecting their behavior onto me, onto us. Anyway, I wanted to thank you for sharing all this wisdom once again. And I'm out here in Western Montana and trying to enjoy the present moment, be prepared in case the power goes out. A bunch of us are hanging together and well armed, and we're probably going to make it. And then they burned down one of our LDS churches today. I saw a picture of the guy went through the brick wall with his pickup truck. And I thought, well, you're not defending enough at your little ward. You know, you're watching the front door and locking the back doors and things like that, and 4 or 5 armed guys. If they come in through the brick wall, that's a whole nother thing to think about. So anyway, again, thanks for all the wisdom you're sharing, brother.
I appreciate that. Look, I'm just trying to prepare people for the worst, but not just here to black pill. Again, you can take control of your lives and be accountable and band together, unite. That's their ultimate fear. And boycott all their bullshit businesses. It's their ultimate fear. They fight against that and they pass laws to prevent it. But they can't force you to spend money where you don't want to. And, keep using cash, of course. Again, learn Bitcoin. They can't control that either because they can't just, they can only do the blackout for so long if that's the direction they want to go. Just be prepared for the worst, but again, don't live in fear either. You guys still gotta enjoy your lives, spend time with your families, touch grass. All right, thanks for that. Who's next?
I think Charlie. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, thank you. I just wanted to hear what you had to think about I saw a video with Nitin today about TikTok and X, and possibly buying it or some kind of influence like that. If you could touch on that.
Talking about X or TikTok?
TikTok, and he also mentioned X in particular.
Okay, well, I mean, TikTok, they've pretty much pieced off to, Larry Ellison and Anderson Horowitz and that third entity for $14 billion. I think it's just a matter of time before the deal signed off. They have a tentative agreement with China. They say China, but I thought it was registered in Singapore. At least that's what the CEO said. But remember, that's only for TikTok USA, not TikTok that's global. Because TikTok USA itself generates a lot of revenue. It's got a lot of influence with the use, a lot of people using it. Welcome, Tyler, to the space. So that is likely going to get sold off with a whole lot of restrictions, and they want to continue data mining it as well. And they want to also get rid of certain videos that would implicate guys like Larry Ellison. Like, you can go test it right now. Larry Ellison buys TikTok or his media empire, and they're going to put restrictions on certain language. Or they already do it, by the way. I noticed that even before this official takeover. But remember, this move was pushed by the ADL because they were concerned that too many of the youth were putting up, anti-Israel and pro-Palestinian comments and videos. So that was a problem for them. And look, it's inevitable that stuff like this is going to happen. All you can do is maneuver against it. Try to fool the algo where you can, and use quota type language, and you see how I write. I try to barely even say Jews. I will once in a while, of course, when I write posts, but I'll just say yes he is, or the chosen one, stuff like that. You know, you got to be able to improvise with language, and you can still be able to communicate and relay what you want. Will it be a challenge? Absolutely. I guess we missed Kunji. I was going to say what's up to him, but yeah, we got a busy, cool space ahead of us. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, for TikTok, but he did specifically mention X too. I'm just wondering.
Okay, so I remember this. I put up this video. So if you recall what he said that Israel's biggest war is like the social media battle. They need to win that, and they acknowledge they've been losing it. So that's why they seek a full-on monopoly. Like they've already got Zuckerberg under their wrapped around their fingers, right? He's got, of course, Meta, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. They've already got what's the other guy's name? Oh, Jeff Bezos actually. Well, besides Washington Post, he also owns the Kickstream platform, which is pretty big, and they've got guys like Aiden Ross running it, another Jew. And X, Elon Musk he's one of them, globalist, aspirationally Jewish, and his funders are like the likes of Larry Ellison and Joey's guy. Stephen Joey shows up as soon as I say Saudi Arabia and Prince Bandar. And then now with TikTok, it'll be run by, of course, Larry Ellison, Anderson Horowitz, etc. So they'll have a full-on monopoly, and they already have, all the major. They've got 96% of the media already. They want to control information flow. It's really important to them. So this way they can continue to brainwash and gaslight people. And, they already control all the textbooks as well at school, which is why I recommend homeschooling. Teach your kids real history, like what actually happened in World War II. Teach them things like about USS Liberty. Teach them about the Federal Reserve. And teach them, obviously, about financial literacy, subjects that actually matter, and then life skills as well. I think parents would do a better job teaching their kids than what they learn in school these days, where they're teaching bullshit like LGBTQ, multiple genders, pronouns, and all this other bullshit, and false history. I mean, the math and physics stuff, that's all, the science stuff, that's definitely important too. So I would get tutors for the stuff you can't teach, but definitely take charge of your kids' education, so this way they don't end up, soft, weak, and like soy boys or girls or whatever, degenerates essentially. Remember, the father's job is to ensure the girl stays off the pole, and the guys and the kid stays out of jail or getting a girl pregnant, while they're in high school.
Thank you.
All right, and everyone, thank you so much for being here. Please repost the space, and if you co-tweet it, I'll also repost it. Follow Truth and Lou and Tyler and the amazing people in the panel. And Truth Teller has super chats that are in the Jumbotron. And thank you so much for supporting free speech and independent journalism. And guys, the people in the hands, please don't monologue, because we do have a lot of hands, and Truth hasn't done his presentation. And thank you so much for being here. All right, Hussein, go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I think, the biggest mistake that they can do is attacking Iran, because we will for sure paralyze the whole infrastructure this time, because they will come after us full-fledged, and we will go after them full-fledged. There will be the nightmare of the Zionist entity. They should not do this, but they are stupid enough to do it. And and there will also be, because these Jews work hand in hand, so they will use the same attack at the same moment also to attack Russia at the same time, and maybe there will be a blitz war in Europe, and we should use this opportunity when Iran paralyzes the entity. Then people should be encouraged to stand up against their authorities, their corrupt authorities, and use this opportunity to, it is about when this prick Netanyahu stands up and says it is about the people of light against the people of darkness. He is a narcissist. He portrays himself as the opposite that he is fighting against. We are actually the people of light. The people of light are those who are fighting for freedom, and they are taking humanity as hostages. And it is not only our fight. The Iranian fight, the Iranian battle, or the Palestinian resistance, or the Yemenis resistance. It is not only our fight. You can truly see it, and if you cannot see it, you're stupid. You should not be here at all. If you cannot see, this is a fight against humanity, and these people want to take humanity as hostages, and they feel themselves chosen, and others, they exclude others from humanity as being sovereign and being human. They portray themselves as being above everybody, and it is written in the Bible and in the Quran what they stand for, and also even the Torah, they have been warned in the Torah about their behavior, but they don't seem to be religious enough to follow their own books. But yeah, we will give them a lesson, and this is the true, this is the true battle of God. God is exalting Himself through us, and we should use this opportunity because He will show Himself, because He will give us power to overcome this issue, and that is the way Allah or God, whatever you call Him, He will exalt Himself against all the disbelievers. When the Quran talks about the disbelievers, it is these disbelievers. It is not the common, normal people. It is those who are against being a humane person, humane. That is so. The Quran is not, bad or something. So yeah. I just wanted to encourage people, and I think, the Zionist entity will do the stupid move, and it is already written that they should do it, because God will use that opportunity to exalt Himself and exalt His people and take all the power and give it back to Him.
Please land it. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for letting me speak. Yes, thank you.
Amazing. Thank you. All right, Mickey J, go ahead, sir.
Hey, Truth Teller, did you ever pay attention to Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai? He was a MIT student. He invented the email in the 80s. He ran for president, but he had he had experienced that. He had been in the higher ups with people. He knew Trump. He was really against Trump, but he brought that up, what you said earlier. Man, now I blanked, but there was just somebody stuff that he kind of ran on, because it was Vivek in his schemy, slimy campaign to, basically manipulate and run a bad business to make money. And he had called that out and no one else would talk about it. But you brought up a great point. Like, he is just as bad. If people knew that going in when he was being popularized, I don't think he'd be, he's just a slime ball. So great point. Thanks for all your hard work, brother. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, Nikki. I want to welcome Michael to the space as well. I did follow Dr. Shiva. I interviewed him once as well. And he uses a lot of colorful language. Tucker Carlson, Fucker Carlson. Oh, yeah, this is a lot of the other candidates. To each his own. I mean, kind of got to tone down the language. But again, I'm just going to say it straight up. America won't vote for a brown guy in. And the only reason why Vivek got as far as he did is because he had a lot of money, and he's one of them. He was a Soros guy. So I think Ann Coulter said it, was honest about it. At best, you might get the wife coming in, with J.D. Vance's wife, who's brown. That's maybe as much as they're willing to tolerate for now. And of course, they don't have a problem with Jews. But maybe it'll get to a point later as they continue to brownify the U.S. That could change. Obviously, I hope it doesn't. But yeah, like Dr. Shiva, he's a brilliant guy, smart guy. I'm aware of the inventions and stuff like that. He's more qualified than a lot of guys in power, and he's against the Federal Reserve and a lot of the other shitty policies out there, including big tech, big pharma, and all that. But guys like him get shut.
He was like a brown Ron Paul.
Yeah, exactly. And guys like him get shut down.
Like, he was a professional. He was a professional, intelligent expert, and he should have been in office. Those are the people we need in office. But yeah, thank you.
And guys like that should be running the country, who aren't looking to just enrich themselves like Trump's doing, which none of these normies talk about. The fact he's violating the Emoluments Clause every day, and they pretend they're constitutionalists, and yet they overlook the fact that he's doing $2 billion deals with UAE to sell his own freaking meme coin and making $70 million commissions, or like he rigs the freaking Federal Reserve and the economy to get interest rates dropped, and then invest $100 million before that to make $6 million in a day. Like, this is where the fuck's the oversight here? Where's the DOJ? What he's doing is illegal, and yet none of these fucking normies, megatards, Q-tards, or any of them call it out. He makes billions, and they throw a few shekels at them, and they're like, oh, bright-eyed and loving him. So it's So again, there's a treasonous administration in place, and then nobody here should support it because they don't serve you at all. All right, I'll do like 3 more hands, and then I do want to start.
Comment?
Yeah, go ahead.
Really quick.
You're honorary co-host. Chime in any level. Especially if you have any current event or any news updates.
Yeah, so apparently about a dozen of the Strata tankers have taken off from the northwest United States. They're currently about to enter over the Atlantic Ocean, so they're heading towards probably London for Britain first before fueling there and then going down to the Middle East. So it looks like they'll be attacking Iran in the next 48 hours or so. The same thing happened last time. We saw the same exact movement. They went northeast and then over towards Europe before going down to the Middle East. Same thing. Additionally, Dr. Shiva's great. I used to listen to him a lot. He would shit on Vivek because Vivek Brahmin, which for those who don't know, Brahmins are the top caste in India, so they're already handed a silver spoon upon birth. When Vivek claims that he graduated at the top of his high school class, Dr. Shiva claimed, well, you got to look into the class because a lot of these Brahmins that go to schools with only like 6 people in them. So he might have been the top of his 6-person class for all you know. But he's definitely someone to pay attention to. I haven't kept in touch with him in about a year. I did text message back and forth with him for a little bit. But I would definitely listen to him.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, I put it up in the nest. Vivek's one of those guys who thinks Americans are lazy, and that's why they need H-1B in place so they can bring in hardworking Indians to take their jobs. That's the kind of asshole he is. In addition to his scam, I put it up there. You can see the Alzheimer drug that he pumped. That there was a failure of a drug. He acquired it. He acquires the drug for $5 million. Drug had already failed 2 trials in 2010. His own mother, part of the scam as well, conducts new phase 2 trials. Lied about the results. $350 million IPO in 2015, and then he cashes out. Stock drops 75% by 2017. Trial 3 failure, and now it's dropped by 99% of its value. Literally got away with a pump and dump. Anyone else would have gone to jail for that. But this Soros shill brown asshole gets away with it. So you see that there's a double standard when it comes to Hindus and Jews. So there's a proof. Then this guy was people thought that this guy was an alternative. Come on. Anyway, so what's up, Michael?
If I could add
you could
really quick. So wait, I didn't know. I mean, I'm not surprised that they're attacking. The U.S. is going to attack Iran again. Is that?
Yeah, and if they do, I'll try and run a 24-hour space, and I'll ask for some volunteers to help me so we can cover all the action and still provide high-level analysis.
Well, the Strata tankers are used to refuel fighter jets. So whereas last time when the U.S. attacked them, we used our B-2 fleet, which can carry they can actually refuel mid-air. They came all the way from, where is it, Mississippi, I forget, in the U.S., and they went over the Atlantic to bomb them directly. I think the Strata tankers will be used for Israel, actually. I don't think we'll bomb them necessarily directly. It'll probably be just refueling Israeli fighter jets.
Because I was looking at, I've been following the stock charts, and it was suggesting that there was going to be a war because, for no reason they were pumping everything to all-time highs, and I'm like, how are they going to dump this? Because they can make so much money if they do this, and it's they literally are timing all these events just around the stock chart.
100%.
Yeah.
They do this every time. They always have their options in place the day of, and they exercise and make their millions while people are worried about the news. They do this with every one of these these premeditated attacks. So they'll probably long oil and long all the military industrial complex stocks and the gun stocks as well, and then short things like airline stocks and tourism stocks, hotels, cruise lines, and all that other crap because people are going to stop traveling. By this point, it's just second nature to these guys, and that's how they get filthy rich.
And people have no idea how much you can make when you have call options, when you know the direction and the time. If you know the direction and the time, you can make
they'll go up 3x overnight.
Yeah, but for every 10% something moves up, you can make 4 to 8x your money, right? So if they drop the whole, and a lot of stocks will do that, right? I remember back when I knew that the first attack against Israel from Hezbollah was going to happen, and it happened in the news. And I look at the VIX chart, and I had drawn 3 months prior. I had drawn this big triangle, and it literally pointed to the exact day they attacked. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me! So it's just Wall Street is the center of the whole corruption. And that's why when you're bringing up Vivek and having this IPO and all that stuff, it's like, it's not surprising just because that's...
Yeah, take a look at this. The $225 strike price call option on ITA, which is the BlackRock ETF for the aerospace and defense industry, surged 6,200% on Friday because they knew it was coming.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, so it's the highest priced one. So basically it's the cheapest one, but it surged 6,200%.
It's so sad. Like, we really got to stop that. And like, I don't know. That's why I like this group, is I think we're making, the United States to make some positive changes as far as like putting America first as opposed to the globalists. But like, I just think we still, even then, we're going to have so much further to go because like, it's just, there's so much wrong with it.
Yeah, look, representatives, government officials should not be allowed to invest in the stock market when they're in charge of making policy that's going to impact stock price. And there was a time when they'd have to divest themselves and use like blind trust for any investments they had. I mean, they made Jimmy Carter sell off his peanut farm before he became president, yet Trump gets to break every rule in the book and still run his businesses actively through his kids. So the absurdity of it all. And by the way, he's a partner also in Affinity Partners, which has, of course, ownership stake in was it Phoenix Holdings that owns Elbit Systems that literally makes missiles and drones for Israel. So now you tell me, is Trump has a vested interest in achieving peace in Israel when Elbit Systems won't have a need to make missiles and bombs anymore? I don't think so, right? So this guy is literally operating with a conflict of interest and no one calls out. And his son-in-law is the one who's the main he's the main one running it. That's Jared Kushner, and it's funded through the Saudis and others too, Qataris and Emiratis as well, right? So that's what's funny to me with these normies. Like, we have a Muslim problem. Cool. Well, why does Trump normalize relationship with Al Qaeda #1 in Syria? How come he does all this business with Gulf states? Like, can you explain that when they're the ones that fund ISIS and Al Qaeda and enable all these problems to take place, along with the help of with Israel quarterbacking it all? They're silent on actually what actually goes on and all the wars that take place that cause the refugee crisis, which then leads to some millions of these Middle Easterners they don't like flooding in, but they won't call out the cause. Why is that? So it's pure cowardice. But yeah, Michael, good point on how the stock market operates. Look, it was designed with an SEC in place to allow these people to get filthy rich because they're in cahoots with each other. And you see that a lot of these so-called politicians, governors, senators, congressmen, what do they end up? They end up on boards of these companies afterwards, making hundreds of thousands of dollars passively, and then getting vested stock as well, just to pump and promote it and provide their network that they've been able to build up while they were in office. Just like Nikki Haley, wasn't she on Raytheon's board or something, or was it General Dynamic? I forget which one, but that's the norm, right? There's no integrity with these people.
And I think I don't know, I'm not for like a lot of regulation, but I do think that at this point we need some framework that actually works. Like, a lot of people might not know much about Michael Milken, but now that I know what I know, when I look back at what he did, he was a junk bond king. But why would he be how would it be so lucrative to do junk bonds? And it's because, say you were going to sell billions of dollars worth of drugs or whatever you're trafficking on the black market, that junk bonds would be the easiest way to do it, because you say, hey, look, you buy these junk bonds, and then I'll buy them from you at a really high price or whatever, and then the money can transfer. And so between the junk bonds, and then they just switch it to we'll just short stocks, because if I short stocks, then I don't have to pay taxes on it. So it's they've been using the stock market to make these ginormous drug trades. I mean, JP Morgan got busted for having $1.5 billion worth of cocaine in their ship, right? That they were transporting with the Mediterranean Shipping Company. And so it's these big deals.
Michael, did anyone go to jail?
I think 3 people that on the really low end, on the deck, went in jail, but no one above the 3 lowest people.
It's whoever screwed up the assignment, because they do this. They're shipping drugs out all the time, and arms too, by the way, and people.
I think it was 6 big containers jam-packed of cocaine, right? So it's like,
yeah, I saw it. I posted about this, and guess what? Mainstream media news, none of these so-called normie influencers covered it. Why is that? And by the way, it was Goldman Sachs. They got busted as well for promoting certain stocks to their clients while they were shorting it at the same time. So again, these investment banks, some of the biggest ones in the world, fuck around and make millions of dollars by breaking all the laws. I mean, that's against the law to do what they did, to again mislead, misrepresent an investment with your clients. You think you could be prosecuted for that, but no one goes to jail when they break the laws of Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan, the two biggest investment banks.
that might be, I'll put out a suggestion for one of your Epstein, your great exposés. There's Catherine Rumler. She is on the board of FINRA, which they're supposed to regulate the stock market. And she was basically Epstein's secretary. So she came from Goldman Sachs and a law firm that's shady as well. And then also at Goldman Sachs, I was looking through I found someone. It was the CEO of Goldman Sachs is David Solomon, and I was like, I bet. Yeah,
and he's a DJ, by the way. A fun fact about him: he's not a bad DJ. I've seen him perform, not live or anything.
Yeah, so I would have bet money if someone like that he was in the Epstein's Black Book, and I look and I was like, oh dang it, there's just an Andrew Solomon, and what do you know, it's his gay brother. It actually ended up being a crazy rabbit hole because his brother was part of, was it Yano or whatever, some really old artist retreat that's was founded by the Peabody family, which is where JP Morgan got its start. And so it's just, anyway, they're all connected to Epstein. It's all this really old money, goes back to, before JP Morgan, which was, Peabody. And I don't know, it's just crazy. But if you wanted to cover as far as Goldman Sachs, you got Catherine Rumler and David Solomon, but then his brother also is the one that was in the Epstein Black Book. Andrew, I think, is his name.
We'll look into that. So I guess Epstein did like to hang out with some homos like Peter Thiel, David Solomon, and he knew Mike Jeffries as well. He helped hire him. So, okay. Well, there you go, libtards. Jeff Epstein was, look at that, an equal opportunist, it seems.
If you've heard his voice, if anyone's ever heard Epstein's voice, dude, I mean, I'm not going to say what his orientation was, but just listen to his voice. And then when you look at who all he was hanging out with, I mean, he was hanging out with some pretty, he's probably swinging that way, I'll just say that.
Yeah, well, what was the name of that British ambassador? He didn't last, the one in the U.S., Peter Mandelson. Yeah, exactly. He was a fag too. Yeah. And he called him his best pal. What do you mean by that? Really? What were you guys up to? Getting all cozy in your robot and taking a picture of it too, taking selfies together. Kind of gay.
He sent him a letter after the allegations and the charges came in for pedophilia, telling him to to fight for it and giving him all kinds of strategic support. So they were a team.
That is something that's
teamwork makes the gay dream work. We did a space on him, by the way. Go ahead, Michael.
That is something that's exciting to me, though, is that he actually just recently got busted. So my guess is they must have had some sort of unlock of information regarding Jeffrey Epstein, because suddenly now the Clintons and all these people are being indicted for that, and he
not being indicted, Michael. They're just being called in for questioning, and they're not even going to show up because Clinton enjoys presidential immunity. So just know the difference.
Oh, that's true. Right. Well, I mean, I guess Comey, but
Comey, come on, he's a Gentile. He's he's disposable. I don't think anything will happen to him anyway. Remember, they gave his daughter all those cases, right, Maureen?
No, that's true. I mean, I was wondering about the Peter Mandelson, that it's if suddenly on September 10th, new information comes out where suddenly he has to step down as ambassador to the United States, it's at least better than nothing, I guess. I don't know.
The thing is, he'll get away with those types of emails. It'll get exposed, and then nothing happens. He just loses his post because there's just too much heat with the media. So just to avoid the embarrassment, he'll get dismissed, but he's never gonna, face any type of real investigation and have to answer for what he did, what he said. So you see, these guys are still above the law. All right, we'll go to Adam, and then maybe one more hand, and then I'll start the presentation. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I just wanted to come up after I heard you guys talking about, the corruption of the banks, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and such. And, they're getting their asses handed to them right now in the precious metals market. Like HSBC as well, because they have massive short positions in silver and gold. And both of them are rocketing up. And, in this century, so since 2000, silver and gold have had, much higher percentage gains than the S&P 500. And the dollar's had like the worst start to the year in decades, or perhaps even unprecedented, or penultimate towards it. So all these things are coalescing, to have like a kind of a death of this financial system that they've been profiting off this fiat system. And as these numbers go up, you can just enjoy that there's going to be some tough conversations being had by bankers, both with each other on the trading floor and to their families. There's going to be bankers' divorces. Banks are going to start going under at some point. That's what's happening right now because
that's by design. Because they want to continue to consolidate. They do that all the time. There's a major recession. Remember during the Great Depression, half the banks went under. They want to eventually just centralize down to a handful of top banks, like maybe a JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. And then it'll be fund of funds. So this is all by design.
It's called the Jubilee.
Yeah, exactly.
They've been doing it for thousands of years.
Yeah, it's ancient. Yeah, they got done for JP Morgan. Got done for manipulating gold and silver markets. They've all been trying to manipulate it, and they've been instituting all kinds of different methods, complicated financial schemes to keep the prices down, but they've all failed. And they're going to be unwinding billions or trillions in losses over the next year or two. And yeah, you're right. It'll consolidate further, but it'll be consolidating with what? They need to have commodities in this new system, this new BRICS system. So it's catching up with all of us, unfortunately. This game that they've played, because after World War II, the consensus was we're going to start doing the funny money game, the fiat game, instead of doing commodities. Even though it was recommended to the United Nations, it was recommended to the World Banks that we produce a fairer system, a fairer world, in which we use commodities, we don't print so much money. It was completely and outright rejected, so that as you rightly say, everything could be consolidated into fewer and fewer hands, which is the purpose of the
debt through a stable coin or a CBDC, likely a stable coin.
Yes.
The genius act, that's what's coming. So they're not interested. They're not really concerned about all the debt they're racking up.
No, they're not exactly right. It's a rug pull. It's a massive rug pull. Yeah, it's a great point with this. And CBDCs
pumping the stock market right now, and then loading up on bonds and gold. What does that tell you?
Exactly. Yeah, the whole actions of Trump and the central bank, the Federal Reserve, and America overall, they're supporting in action everything but the dollar. They're doing things that hurt their own financial system. Why would they be doing that unless it was a massive rug pull? They're going to be that the American consumer, the average Joe, hold the bag on this and use it to pump up their bonds, to buy gold, and anyone who's not buying commodities or tangible assets, and I'm not talking about homes, I think they're going to crash. You're getting fooled, basically, getting fooled by this. So yeah, you're right about that. I just wanted to mention that because the banks, the scam that they've been pulling for the past century is coming to an end. And people should be aware of that. People should be aware that you don't want to have your money in fiat currency, dollars, euros, pounds, whatever it is. You don't want to be holding in that. Gold and silver is much better. And just watch as everything starts to collapse in that way. This inflation is going to get worse. They're going to turn the money printers on again soon. And then we're going to have like hyperinflation, and gold and silver are going to keep going to the moon. So yeah, I just want to let everyone know that and say that about the banks. Like the dirty games are catching up, and things will consolidate. It is going to go towards people owning more, a fewer people owning more than everyone else. But just everyone should make sure that they're on the right side of that by being cognizant of what's going on, what games being played here, and researching that. Yeah, that's it. Cheers. Truth.
Adam, I sent you a text message or a DM. Please, when you get a chance, take a look and respond. Thanks.
Yeah, of course, brother. Will do.
All right, Joanne, call the last. I think I see 3 hands, and I'll get started.
There's 4 hands, and I have people messaging me as well. Today everyone wants to be.
She's so quiet. What's going on over here? The other space is just also for being exciting that everyone wants to chime in here. It's all good. I appreciate it. I'm flattered. Who's next?
Okay, it's Bolts. Go ahead.
Hey, I put a comment in the Purple Pill, but I was wondering what you know about the sale of X to the federal government. And, like, do they have full control of the company, or is it just, like, they got access to the code?
You mean TikTok or X?
X. Elon Musk sold X to the federal government for 42 cents. I put the link in the chat. Did you see this?
What? Where did you get that? He sold X?
It was reported in several major news yesterday.
On Saturday, there was a sale of X that nobody's talking about. Okay, put that in the Jumbotron.
I don't know how to do that. But I put it in the Purple Pill.
Okay, send it to my DM.
I'll put it in the Jumbotron in a second.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. That would be headline news if that was true.
Well, I saw it on X and then looked it up or something. And I saw several reports. I was like, that can't be real. And then I found it on Yahoo. Tech Yahoo. Sells Grok. I'm sorry, not X. I'm so sorry. I meant to say Grok. I said X. That is a huge difference. Grok.
Yeah,
Elon Musk sells Grok for 42 cents to the federal government.
Okay, that's
my bad. I said X. I meant to say Grok, which is not as big, but it's also interesting.
I'll have to look at the terms of the agreement before I can comment on that, because this is news to me. That's insane that you would do that.
Wait, because
I thought you...
XAI owns X. XAI owns X.
Right.
XAI is also providing dedicated engineers, because the U.S. government can't manage its own AI. This is interesting.
Elon Musk just sold
a reliable source. They wouldn't lie. XAI is the latest in line of AI companies just strike.
I think it means that the federal government can use the code or something. Like they sold them. It says they sold Grok. It might just be meaning they give them access to the code.
Okay, so today the General Service Administration announced that it has reached an agreement with XAI that will allow it to buy Musk's Grok AI models for 42 cents per organization. I mean, I don't even know what to say to this. It's part of the trial. Okay, I'll look at this closely and see. That's odd to me. But anyway, we know that X hasn't been sold. I guess. Yeah, like you said.
Sorry about that.
He's probably going to be getting a very favorable subsidy, cash windfall or something in exchange for this. And yeah, it looks like that so-called spat between Trump and Elon was totally fake. They're still buddies. So, because that's huge. But anyway, all of his companies have been subsidized. We know Tesla obviously has been with all the subsidies for electric vehicles. So has, of course, SpaceX. I mean, they were actually funded through Incotel, by the way, with $300 million. And they're like NASA. They continue to be subsidized. None of his companies are actually profitable, by the way. You guys keep that in mind. Yet he's the second richest guy in the world. Go figure.
Welfare, baby.
Right. Joanne, let's wrap through these hands and I'll get started.
Yes, you're very popular today. I like it. William, welcome. How are you?
Very good, Joanne. Truth, everyone. How are you? One quick thing. This is not a prediction. This is just educated speculation. This Thursday is the quote-unquote holiest Jew day, that being the day they atone for the sins they're going to make in the upcoming year. Think of Yom Kippur. I'm just throwing it out there. Oh, wasn't October 7th enough? I'm just throwing it out there. This Thursday could be the whining violin playing kike. Oh, they had to attack us on Yom Kippur. It's speculation, educated, just throwing it out there. That's all. I yield.
It's true. Itamar made a good point last week about this holiday and how that's probably what it means.
This is for Rosh Hashanah. They have a bunch of holidays coming up.
Oh, yeah, October. The market's always has low volume because all the Jews take the most of October off.
Because they work
Yeah,
so
this
hard
one-
otherwise, right, Lou?
Yep. It's called Yom Kippur, Yomkippur. Last week was a New Year called Rosh Hashanah, but this is the holiest one, Thursday.
Yeah, I'm sure Trump will be celebrating it with his Jewish family.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, so I got a,
Gold
I
custom
got a,
yarmulke.
I got a little message from William Morris, and it says Grok wasn't sold XAI licenses to the US via GSA for 42 cents, and it's
Subscription
access
agreement.
support. Yeah, not ownership transfer, exiting for AI in government, but Musk still owned the core tech, and that's it. And William Morris was a great painter. I like it. All right, Dr. Strange. Oh no, let me be frank and then Dr. Strange. Go ahead, sir. Let me be frank. Am I glitching?
No, I hear you.
Oh, okay.
Let me be
Then
frank,
Dr.
Rita.
Strange.
Well, Dr. Strange, go ahead.
Hey, thanks, folks. Chud, Joanne, Tyler, good to hear you, folks. Thanks for hosting. One, there seems to be a strong correlation between every time the U.S. has inflation, which is subsequently followed by war. So given the inflation, the double-digit inflation we had in the past few years, which has not subsided, right? The inflation has stayed on, and that I'm inclined to think, and I can go into the weeds of why this is the case and why they need all that trillions of dollars that they pumped into. They need to basically broaden it so others use it up as well, and therefore, ensure that some other country ends up adopting the dollar for its reserves and trade, which is one of the reasons why the U.S. pursues war. I don't want to go into too much detail into that, but that's definitely the case. So I agree with what the other folks are saying, and you guys are predicting. There's a strong possibility that we will end up going to war. And unfortunately, it looks like it's either Venezuela or Iran, more than likely Iran, because the Israelis, are hell-bent on going into Iran. And I think this would be the worst mistake the U.S. can end up making, because the element of surprise is gone. Iran has basically hardened itself far more. It's going to be a disaster all around. And it may very well, especially with what's happening with the Russians, as well as the Ukrainian issue, as well as what China's doing. This may very well become another Cold War between the U.S. and the other, I guess, the multipolar world. So that's unfortunate. And just to let you know, gold has popped $350 per ounce, an extra $350 per ounce, just in the past month.
Leadership is loving it.
Yep. Normally, it wouldn't go up that much for years. This whole year, it's been like jumping up, but just in the past month, jumped 350, and it's continuing to go up. So I think the people who are monitoring stocks, they're right. That's the best way to predict what the U.S. is going to do. If you think the U.S. is going to war, these hedge funds, they will know it before anybody else, and they'll start making bets on it. So if you want to know which direction the U.S. is moving towards, just monitor which sector is moving, climbing up really fast, really quickly. The other thing, Trud, that you mentioned regarding Vivek, SQL salesman going around talking about God, and somebody put him on the spot. It's like, which God are you referring to? Because he was going around and speaking about giving speeches to average Americans about God, country, and faith. So it was really interesting. Now, regarding H-1B visas, this is really messed up, because the people that they're bringing in are not any brighter than the average American. In fact, there are a lot of Americans with stem cell degrees who are far more superior than the people they're bringing in. the reason why these people are coming in, part of it has to do with in-group preference, because a lot of these companies are now dominated by Indians at the C-level suite, and it's natural for them to bring in every cousin, village member that they can bring from India, and you've got 1.4 billion people. So this is a natural phenomenon. In addition, a lot of these corporations will bring these people in and they'll work 120, 130 hours a week, because at the end of 5 years, they have to stay with the company for 5 years. They'll get a green card. So it kind of sucks for the average American for them to be able to, that you're telling them that they need to work 120, 130 hours a week to compete with 7 billion people just to be able to live or survive. It's a shitty situation because everybody is really taking advantage of Americans in a roundabout way. Not everybody, these elite folks, because, and lastly, I'm going to land with this. It really, you have to really question how all of a sudden, within a span of 10 to 15 years, the entire C-suite of all these major corporations have been completely dominated by Indian Americans, and the white Americans have been replaced. That is not coincidence. If anybody thinks that there aren't enough white Americans who can are better candidates who can fill that position, then you're smoking some really hardcore hashish. Because it behooves me how all of a sudden the entire C-suite of all these major corporations are completely dominated by one group. And you have to ask yourself, why and who did this? Is it because they're yes men and they'll do the bidding of the people who basically want them there? Or are they really that talented, far more than they have higher IQs than the average American? Well, I can prove to you that that's not the case, because the average national IQ of India is at 76. The US stands at around 100. So I can for sure tell you that it has nothing to do with merit or lack of talent. And if that be, even then, the Asian Americans in the US, they're considered the most, having the highest IQ at like 105, 106 national. I'm referring to averages, right? Japan and China has the highest national average IQ in the world at 106, 105. And the population of East Asians in the US were natively born here and raised here for, at least 50, 60 years. Yet they're not dominating the C-suite. They are very, unless it's Jensen Huang who actually started this whole company, but the majority of the other C-suites are not dominated by them. It really makes me question how one group of people, one ethnicity dominates the entire C-suite of all these major corporations. And they're replacing all white Americans pretty much. And yet, how? Why? Who's behind it?
Dr. Strange, it's coordinated socioeconomic genocide of whites by Jews and their Indian partners at the U.S.-India Strategic Partnership Forum. It's run by the same Trilateral Commission, Bilderberg, 9/11 co-conspirators, because they know in order to avoid accountability for the things that they've done, which include COVID, 9/11, FTX, Jeffrey Epstein, all of that, they have to socioeconomically genocide white people in America and remove them from all levers of power. And Jensen Huang is not just some startup business owner. He was an LSI contractor for Sun Microsystems in the Sun Microsystems Mafia, which brought us the BlackRock Aladdin platform, which is Israel's central tool of global market and socioeconomic manipulation. It brought us Fanad Khosla, it brought us Carol Bartz, Eric Schmidt, Bennett Golub, Charles Halak, Andy Bechtel-Sheem, on and on and on. These are Soviet Union Bolshevik communist Jews that have intentionally used these platforms, like what Sequoia
invested heavily in called Forage, where they are at the network-wide level of recruiting. They're excluding whites, especially white males, demographic 40 plus, basically people like me who should be in their peak earning years. The platform is FORAGE. It involves John Renfro. It involves some bitch who was basically lead director at Gilead. What's Gilead? That's from Remdesivir. That's how they murdered people in hospitals during the pandemic. And it's on purpose. And it's how they give you the percentages, like how college acceptances are being done that way, how law firms, how big tech, how professional organizations, and how other pharma companies are hiring. And they are 100% excluding whites from the equation. And why would they do that? Well, again, Sequoia Capital, for those who don't know, that was the 50-50 investor with Google, with Kleiner Perkins. Andy Bechtolsheim handpicked Eric Schmidt to go from Novell over to Google right after he left Sun Microsystems in the 80s. They saw this as basically Likud and the Soviet Union saw this as the opportunity to claim control of the United States, and they rigged the tech bubble to do it. And Sean McGuire's whole family is involved. His wife is literally Qualcomm royalty. Qualcomm was the biggest winner from the tech bubble, and his firm, Sequoia, invests in this platform, and they're quite literally in bed with the Likud Party and Unit 8200 in something called Kela Technologies, which is helping to build out the surveillance state against American non-Jews. And it is what it is. I wish I had better news, but I put down in the purple pill, the H-1B exploitation racket isn't just a product of Indian ethnic nepotism. I mean, it's certainly it's a product of Jewish nepotism and Indian nepotism, but the coordinated not hiring of white Americans. And Michael Froman, B'nai B'rith operative, president of the Council on Foreign Relations, and a vice chairman of the Gavi Vaccine Alliance and a director at Walt Disney, was the guy who last year was caught on that hot mic saying, yeah, we don't hire white men for these positions. Basically meaning C-suite and board of directors positions.
Who is this?
Michael Froman, president of the Council on Foreign Relations, vice chair of Gavi Alliance. B'nai B'rith. B'nai B'rith was who created the KKK and the ADL for the purposes of subverting white men in the United States by the Rothschilds, funded by the Rothschilds.
So, I have to run, but I have a quick I need a quick advice from Truth. Truth, I put together a short video. It's about 4 minutes. It basically showcases the prodromes of war, how the American people are psyop before war happens. Any suggestions on how I can blast this or make sure I can access the numbers? I sent you a message a couple times. I'm not sure if you get it. It's the...
Yeah, I'll take a look at it, and let me look at it. I'll get back to you. Maybe we can discuss it on the space to help with the exposure. By the way, David Macker said the same thing, that they won't hire whites either for C-suite positions. I have the video where he said that. He's caught on video. They tend to only hire Jews or minorities, and that means mainly Jews. So, and Krishna as well at IBM, same deal. They won't hire. They tend to just hire minorities, mainly Browns, obviously. He tends towards Browns for the GM senior positions before whites. So they go out of their way to, whenever they do corporate restructuring, to lay off more whites, to gradually, incrementally, then bring in more minorities. And this is all by design. It's fucking bullshit. In addition to that, I'm all about stats, numbers, facts. Look at the IQ, top IQs: China, South Korea, Japan, Iran, Singapore, Russia, Mongolia, etc. It's all white Asian countries, as a European and Asian countries. India and Israel don't even make top 50. And yet I mean, Israelis come in here freely anytime they want. And
Israel and Ukraine are at 97, truth. They're
and yet they
quite
get to
literally dumb as fuck.
Yeah, no, I know. And yet they get to come in freely. So you see the clear bias and the lack of meritocracy in seeking to actually bring in the best for talent, if that is the actual objective. So con artists like Vivek or other Browns that want to claim that we're here because we're smarter, we work harder. They might work hard. I won't take that away from them, but doesn't mean you're smarter. And the whites are just getting passed over because that's the way the Jews want it, because they're the ones who are in control of the C-suites, because they're the main shareholders through BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, and the hedge funds. They're the ones who get to pick executive board members that make rules like DEI and ESG, etc., to favor minorities over whites. So it's complete bullshit. And again, these normie retards don't say or do anything about it.
Jude, can you share that video that you referred to where they said they don't hire white?
It's in the Nest. Truth revealed. It was David Macker that said it. Take a look.
In the Jumbotron, or?
Yeah, it's there right now.
Yeah, that's the Jumbotron, the Nest. The Jumbotron thing.
Yeah, it's in the Nest.
All right. Should we move to the next hand so that you can start your presentation?
Yeah. And also, guys, we got
last
a few requests. I'll let you deal with it. Go ahead. Last one, yeah.
All right. I hate Israel. Go ahead. Dre, going once. Dre, going twice. All right.
Come on, Dre.
Okay, let me Frank.
He dropped or something. He complains. I want to come back up. He's up.
Yes.
Now's his time to shine. That's fine. Start doing some rotations, though. We got some people requesting, and I'm going to get started. And then we'll do the man versus machine segment. So, all right, guys.
I'll go down. Thanks.
All good. And yeah, just send me that video. I'll take a look at it. I'm not going to lie. I'm busy doing a lot of shit.
The noise, guys.
Lots of
I'm on
research,
the
but
job
I'll
site.
take a look at it as soon as I can. And I'll help where I can, too. All right, so some of you guys have heard this presentation before, but it's worth hearing a second time. The Peter Thiel Palantir Epstein connection, because it's still relevant today. It's ongoing, and hardly any of these normies and other spaces talk about it. In fact, the way Palantir is marketed is like it's something good, positive. Americans would want this, It'll help reduce crime rates, or it'll help, track data to be able to help for things like marketing and deliver, a better standard of living for all. Or, it actually helped in Iraq and Afghanistan. It helped with COVID. So it's marketed as something positive, which is just incredible to me. It just shows a complete, lack of understand. Well, they understand exactly how it works, but for those who actually will repeat this garbage and nonsense in other spaces, it's just absolutely disgusting that they still haven't figured out that this is just a surveillance project to completely infringe on people's privacy, and it's a violation of the Fourth Amendment for those who actually care about the Constitution. None of them do, obviously, because they're willing to give up all their privacy, supposedly in exchange for security. They will have neither. But again, they're too stupid, ignorant to realize that. And people like this really they're part of the problem. Anyway, so you can see here, I mentioned as part of the receipt, Israel-linked CIA-funded Palantir goes public, making espionage mainstream. And as you guys know, Palantir was initially funded through the CIA's InQtel private equity, or what was it? Yeah, the private equity. What's the word I'm looking for? Anyways, the private equity capital. The venture capital fund is what funded, in addition to other projects like SpaceX. So what is the history of Palantir? It's important to know. So right after 9/11, the government already had this in mind to create a surveillance arm run by AI. And they called it the Information Awareness Office. It was established by the U.S. through DARPA, that stands for Defense Advanced Research Project Agency. By January 2002, post 9/11, to bring together several DARPA projects and be able to, again, create an AI project to be able to, again, monitor and track people, supposedly to be able to filter out terrorists. But really, the plan was just to be able to spy on everybody and get access to your data, like text messages, emails, what kind of books you're borrowing, because back then people actually used to go to the library, and your credit card statements, etc. And you can see that John Poindexter, of all people, led the charge. This was the guy that supposedly, was involved in arms selling during the Iran-Contra scandal. But hey, and he got convicted for it, by the way. Yet his conviction was thrown out, never faced any consequences, and he was running this Information Awareness Act. Funny fact, funny coincidences here, right? So why did IOA get shut down? Well, they had to shut it down because it was so unpopular in 2003, because it was too controversial. The program included funding for biometric surveillance, stuff that Larry Ellison was pushing in addition to his national ID program, which is happening in the UK right now as we speak. And so he wanted biometric surveillance tech that could identify and track individuals using surveillance cameras and other methods. Key point here, without a warrant. Again, violation of the Fourth Amendment. They didn't care, and this was the government doing it before they even funded Palantir. So understand, they already had this in mind right after 9/11, which is again orchestrated, so this way they could take away more privacy and rights. And the only difference is because although it was controversial, like, okay, fine, let's just privatize it. And while we're doing these wars, people won't really notice. We'll just go test it out and really specialize it there and perfect it in places like Iraq and Afghanistan, and that's exactly what they did. So when was Palantir established? Well, it was in and around, well, privately that is, it was already going again in 2002. Well, through Palantir was actually, again, co-founded by, of course, Peter Thiel and, Kosher Mafia, Stephen Cohen, Joe Lonsdale, Alex Karp, all members of the tribe. And Thiel himself is an honorary member, essentially. He is an antichrist. We're going to get more into that stuff. We look forward to actually asking Ava about that. So notice Thiel invokes the Bible when he talks about the Antichrist. Thessalonians 5:3 on the Antichrist slogan, which is peace and safety. Destruction will come on them suddenly as labor pains on a pregnant woman, and they will not escape. It's scary stuff. So this guy has no problem invoking the fact that, he's all about the Antichrist, and he's already done, 4 lectures about it too, which all sold out, by the way. And what kind of people are actually paying money to hear this guy talk about the Antichrist? At best you can Google that. Seriously, you really want to hear this guy talk? Go figure. Anyway, so after DARPA's IAO information awareness office was shut down, the CIA's Incutel put in $2 million towards Thiel's venture. It was largely bankrolled with an initial cost of about $30 million.